Hi. I hope everyone's doing well this evening. I see people already in the chat. Hi, Missy. Hi, Patty. Yay. You made it to alive. Hi, Craig. How are you? Hey, John. Good morning. I think that's about it so far. So I don't really expect a whole big turnout tonight because I said I was going to cancel it. And I thought I was going to be out of town, and I'm not out of town. I'm home. So I decided to go ahead and do it. And hi, Leslie. So anyway, why don't we chat about Thanksgiving if that's coming up for you? And do you guys have any questions about preparing for Thanksgiving? I have made Thanksgiving for just a handful of people, and I've made Thanksgiving for like 30 to 40 people. So it can be quite challenging if you're hosting Thanksgiving to get everything done at the same time, or get your dishes prepped ahead of time, things like that. So, or any questions about turkey, the best way to cook it, those kind of things, I'm happy to answer and give my opinion. Hey, Robin. Hey, Shelly. Hey, C. Hi, Wendy. Hi, Jeanette. Hi, Linda. Hi, Donna. Hi, Sharon. Hi, Dawn. Hi, Leslie. Bunch of people jumped in. Good to see you guys. Oh, we're having a big turnout. I thought it would be a low one. Hi, Jacqueline. I think I lost track. Hi, Shirley. Hi, Yiba. Hi, Estegan. I'm sure I pronounced your name wrong. I apologize in advance for that. Or I guess it's not in advance, it's after the fact. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Gigi. Hi, Patty. Oh my goodness, so many people. We have people from all over the place. John's from Australia. I think, Craig, you're Canada, right? And then we have Alabama. And where's everybody else from? Put it down in the comments so I can see. Leslie, so you must be Canadian, right? Thanksgiving was last month, and I forgot. I'm so horrible. I think about these things like in the middle of the night, and I'm like, okay, yes, I have to post on my Facebook page, Happy Thanksgiving to everybody in Canada. And then like the next day, I just forget. It's so horrible. I forget everything. I'm like always, I don't know, like I have good intentions leading up to a certain thing I want to do. And then I just get busy and I totally forget about it. It's just terrible. I mean, like, I'm like that way with family too. Like, so don't take it personally because I'll forget somebody's birthday in a second. Like, and I'll know it's coming, right? As a matter of fact, I just realized now I forgot my best friend's birthday. Oh my gosh. Oh my God. Okay. Well, anyway, Jenny, happy belated birthday. I will call you tomorrow. I am a bad friend. Okay. Let's see. Hi, Chris. Hey, Larry. Hi, Joe. Jeanette made the red pepper dip, turned out just great. Oh, that's good. That's the cheese spread. That is so easy to make. I really love that. I love that recipe. Hi, Linda. In case I didn't say hi, I think I might have, but I might have forgotten. Alyssa, how are you? I grew up in Annapolis, Maryland, so I am well familiar with Baltimore, and I used to work there as a nurse. So yeah, welcome to the live. Portugal. Oh, that's awesome. And Georgia. I've never been to Villanelle, but I have been to Georgia many times. And Illinois, Toronto, East Tennessee. Wendy, I'm in West Tennessee. And Pennsylvania. And beautiful Georgia. Yes, it is beautiful. Patty wants to go to Australia. Yes, Jeff and I want to go to Australia too. We plan on visiting John and Barry when we're there, and we can't wait. Jeff looked up flights the other day. He says, oh my goodness, they're expensive. I'm like, yeah, they probably are. I haven't looked yet. Hi, Crystal. How are you? I hope you're doing well. Yeah, I was supposed to be out of town this week, but it turned out I didn't have to go. So, and I'm going to Maryland next week for Thanksgiving. So we won't have a Tasty Tuesday next Tuesday. So we missed 2 of those. I know those are people's favorite. They like those more than the Q&A with just me. It's fun when Jeff's around. But we will be traveling. So I don't know if I'll do a live, but I plan on cooking with my nephew for Thanksgiving. I plan on teaching him how to make bread. And so I'm thinking, and some fun, like maybe a fun dessert, like an apple hand pie or something like that. So I think I'll like try to get some of that on video, whether it's live or not, I don't know. My mom's kitchen's kind of small. And I mean, if I brought in lights and cameras and all that stuff, she'd be like, what are you doing? So we'll probably keep it pretty chill. We're looking forward to just a nice, peaceful family Thanksgiving. It has been so long since I've been home for Thanksgiving. And the first year we moved to Tennessee, which was 5 years ago, my mom and sister came here. I think it was for Thanksgiving or Christmas, but I think it was Thanksgiving. And then I have not made it back since. And we always used to do a tradition of no matter what was going on in my sister and our lives, we would always go to Frostburg, Maryland to visit my mom for Thanksgiving. She moved there. I don't remember when, but anyway, we would always go and it would always snow. And it was just so amazing. And my mom has this like Victorian house on this old street, brick-lined street in Frostburg. It's so quaint. And she's got the lights in the windows and she's always has everything perfectly decorated. It's like going through like a museum almost. So I really miss that. I can't wait. I can't wait to go home. And I plan on really just spending time with family, minimal Facebooking, minimal work, and just having a really good time. So I hope everybody else gets to spend some time with their family and friends. Hi, Barb. How are you? Wendy says she's a procrastinator with a horrible memory. I sign up for that. That's who I am. Yes. That's a perfect example. In fact, I have a recipe coming out tomorrow, and I keep saying I'm going to get ahead of this. Like I'm going to have the post all written, and it's going to be perfect, and I'm going to be like just ready to hit publish tomorrow. Oh no! Today I'm finishing this, finishing that, doing little things, and I'm like, okay, I still have time. So I go on to do something else, and I'll finish it up tomorrow, just like I always do, and it'll get out. And Patty's from Washington State. I'm thinking if I've ever been to Washington State. I think that's one of the states I have not been to. And Tampa, Florida. I know I've been to Florida, but I'm not sure if I've been to Tampa. All right, we've got a question. Grits. What's the real deal here, Louise? Okay, Mike, what is the real deal with grits? I don't know. What is the real deal with grits? Stone ground grits. I don't make them. My husband likes them sweet with sugar. I like grits with savory, cheesy, like shrimp and grits, but I like to combine them with quinoa because I like the texture difference. So I like the grits, but then I like the quinoa. Now, maybe you're not even asking me about grits. I don't know. But if you want to expound on that, I'm happy to give my opinion. Thank you, Linda. Linda's giving a happy birthday to Jenny. All right. Hi, Bonnie. Jeanette made that dip. It's a cheddar cheese dip that you just like use in a KitchenAid or with a hand mixer, and it's just shredded cheddar, and you blend it with a few little other things and roasted red peppers, and it's just so good. It's so easy too. Hi, Keith from Maine. Okay, Wayne, I want to make your cheese dip. I think you're talking about the Liquid Magic pretzel cheese dip, right? Any suggestions on how to make it like the Tostitos queso? Yes, in my written post. Now, I cannot remember the exact flavors in Tostito queso because I have not had it in years and years and years. But I made like a nacho kind of cheese queso dip with it. And I give my spices in the written post. So if you go to my website and look up pretzel dip, because that's what I called it, because that's what people were searching for, believe it or not. It's kind of odd, but it is a pretzel cheese dip. I think it's called pretzel cheese dip. And so anyway, so that's what it's called. But yeah, just put in some seasonings. Now the Tostito queso might have finely chopped red peppers in it. And you could put finely chopped spicy peppers even. I don't remember it being too spicy though, but I can't remember what it tastes like, so I can't give you exact, but play around with it and you'll make something absolutely delicious. And what I do, if I want to try to mimic something, is I will buy a jar or a box or whatever I'm trying to mimic, bring that home, make the homemade version, and then taste them side by side and tweak the spices until I get it as close as possible. So I recommend doing that too. And then and write it down, because if you don't write it down, you'll forget, even though you think you won't, because it's really simple. Trust me on this. If you don't write it down, you'll forget what you put in there. Another tip when you're trying to get close to a flavor of something that you buy in the store, and you want to take a sample of your homemade version, instead of trying to add spices to the whole thing, take a sample out. So like with that cheese dip, if it makes, an 8-ounce container of liquid cheese, I would just take out like 2 tablespoons, right? And then I would doctor that up with the spices to get it to where I want. Then I would multiply those spices, of course, to get into the rest of the cheese dip and make it perfect. So those are my little tips there. Oh, Patty made a deer roast in my smoker. I'm hooked. It was so good. Yeah, I'm sure you're talking about either the Ninja Woodfire grill or smoker and smoker, I guess it is, and the Ninja or the Ninja oven. That's the outdoor oven. That's a smoker. I haven't done the smoking process that's not true. I did, I think, smoke and roast red peppers in the oven, but I haven't done any meat in the oven smoking, but I'm sure it works just the same. But yeah, that little thing is really surprising. Like, I didn't think I was going to like it because, my background is barbecue. I owned a barbecue restaurant. So like, I'm used to a big rotisserie wood, big log burning smoker. And I thought, I'm never going to get the flavors or anything with a pellet smoker of any kind, really. I just was like, I'm not even buying a pellet smoker. Like, it doesn't even sound like it's going to work, but it does. And as long as you get the right pellets, and I don't recommend the ones from Ninja, they're very harsh. Especially if you're just starting out with smoking, because, when you're smoking meat or cheese, because I just smoked cheese and I have a recipe for that. That's amazing. You don't want it to taste like an ashtray. I mean, you don't want it to be so strong that it's off-putting. A lot of people think they don't like smoked meat because that's what they've experienced. When I went to some classes on smoking meat and I became a certified judge and stuff, there were some people who really thought that was what it should taste like. And the more smoke, the better. And, that's not the case at all. You want the smoke to flavor, not overpower. I mean, that's the same with any kind of spice. So think of the smoking as like a spice. It's an ingredient. So the type of wood pellet that you pick is an ingredient in your recipe. And I recommend, if you're starting out, get apple. Apple goes with everything. Apple pellets go with everything. So I recommend that. And then you can change. I like cherry too. I like maple. And I'll do some other kinds on occasion, but I just find that having those 3 varieties pretty much takes care of everything for me. Pecan's good too. Okay. Good night. Good night. 3 a.m. in the morning. Get some sleep. All right. Let's keep going down here. Yeah. So Wendy says, so glad you're spending time with family. Please record on video, then decide. Yeah, I think I will. But I don't want to tax Jeff too much because, he's the guy that's got to do that. But yeah, I think I'm going to ask him to sort of almost Not sneakily. I don't want, oh, we don't do that. No, 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 Gus. No, 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 no. Shh, 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 shh. Gus, hey, there's nothing going on. There's nothing going on. I think he's okay. He's still looking outside, and he's still in stance mode. So we could have another bark, but hopefully not. Um, but what I mean by, I don't mean surprise, like we're going to catch people, doing weird things or anything, but like just natural stuff, like normal stuff, not produced, although I don't think much of that I do is produced, because even my videos that are edited are not necessarily produced, because whatever comes out of my mouth is what goes on the video. Like, I don't script it or anything. Okay, so Larry, let's talk about that. Enjoy making bread. Have discovered that weighing the flour makes a big difference. Well, yes and no, because really weighing the flour is, I mean, if you want to be precise and you want to follow a recipe and you want it to be precise, then yes, weighing your flour is the best way to do it. However, I don't believe that bread making you should even have to fuss with that. My way of making bread is basically determining what size loaf I want. So if I'm making a small bread loaf, it might be 2 or 3 cups of flour. If I'm making a large bread loaf, it might be 6 cups of flour. So I go by that first. So whatever size, shape, like if I'm going to cook it in the Ninja Foodie, I'm not going to use any more than 3, maybe 3.5 cups of flour, because otherwise it gets too high and you get a burn mark on the top. So I decide that first. So, okay, I'm going to make this size bread bowl or this size baguette or whatever. And then just for a lean, basic bread dough, lean. By lean, I mean 3 ingredients, 4: yeast, flour, salt, and water. What I do is for every cup of flour, I use a half a teaspoon of yeast. So if I'm going to do a 3-cup loaf or bread bowl, then I will do 1.5 teaspoons of yeast. I will do between 1 and 1.5 of salt. I'll go heavier on the salt in my bread because I like it that way. So I would do 1.5 teaspoons of salt. And then I use water to the optimal hydration for the flour I'm using. So I don't worry about weighing anything, and I don't even measure the water. So I have a video that I did, but it turned out to be an hour long. I don't think anybody on YouTube's going to want to watch an hour long how to make dough video. So I'm talking with Jeff about how to turn it into like a 3-part little mini series of making bread, because there's 3 components of bread, right? The most important, and some people will disagree with me, but the most important is getting the dough right. If you start out with bad dough, you're not gonna, if it's underhydrated, overhydrated is not really going to be an issue, but it's going to be hard as hell to work with. Like 100% hydration dough, I've done it one time, and oh my gosh, that was challenging, let me tell you. But lower hydrations, as long as the flour's optimally hydrated, are a breeze to work with. And a little bit wetter is better usually, for almost all doughs. So the dough, number 1 importance. Number 2 is proofing. How you do it. I have balloons. Why do I have balloons? That's so cool. Did you guys? No. Did you guys? Are you seeing the balloons? How are we seeing balloons? What's going on? Is everybody seeing balloons? Oh my gosh. Okay. So dough, proofing, baking. And baking is probably like the third. I'm third and last, because if you've done everything else right, your baking is going to be fine. Whether you use steam, or a water in the hot oven, whether you use what do they call those? A Dutch oven, whether you open bake, those kind of things. If you did the other 2 right, you're going to end up with a good tasty loaf of bread. Are you going to have big holes and it's going to be beautiful and it's going to look like it came, right out of the bakery? Not the first 10, 15, 100 times, probably not. But on your 16th, 100th time of making it, you probably will. But every single one before that's going to be delicious. So while weighing the flour is accurate, I think it's fussy. And I think it deters a lot of people from making bread. So I want to kind of just, Larry, not that you're doing anything wrong. I don't want you to think that. Please, if you like weighing the bread and it's working out great, do it. But for people who don't have a scale, don't want to weigh it, blah, 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 there, you don't have to. Hi, Leanne. How are you? All right. Let's see. Happy Thanksgiving, Linda. Hey, Debbie. Welcome. All right, Barb. Thank you so much for mentioning the Ninja Combi a few weeks ago. Hubby got me one for my birthday. Happy birthday. And I've been using it every day since. Limited recipe, so having to adapt my regular recipes, which include a huge amount of yours. That's awesome. That's awesome. And yeah, the Combi is a neat little thing. And I think I mentioned the last time, maybe the last Q&A or maybe two Q&As before. I don't remember, but I know I mentioned that I looked at it. I was like, oh, really disappointed and thinking it wasn't going to be big enough to make bread in. And that's what I was really excited about. But you can make small loaves of bread. They're gorgeous. And the process is really easy. It's easier in the Combi than it is in any other appliance that has the steam crisp function. In my opinion, easier in the Combi than it is in the Foodie or in the Speedy. But all are doable. All are doable. Okay. Robin says, my mom's house sounds fantastic. It really is fantastic. Um, it's so beautiful. It's like when we went to see it, my sister was going to college and we went to see it and the windows. I think the reason why she bought it is because I fell in love with the windows. I'll have to share a picture. I wonder if I have one. Let me see. I'll be right back because it really is. It's beautiful. I'll be right back. I did happen to find a picture, and I hope I can get it to where you can see it. And Jeff and I made a gingerbread house out of her picture of her house. So I think you can see it, right? Anyway, isn't that pretty? So we probably won't get that much snow for Thanksgiving, but we usually always get a little bit. And I always say that is my dad sprinkling his love from heaven because he knows we all love snow. Okay, Louise, don't cry. It's all good. Happy memories. Hi, Stacia. How are you? All right, I'm going to scroll down a little bit. Hi, Annie. Hi, Bonnie. I've just been chit chatting. I don't even think I've answered, but like maybe 3 questions. So, Chris, I love grits, butter, salt, cheese, and shrimp. That sounds good. I have a shrimp and grits recipe where I use the quinoa and it's in the pressure cooker. And I bought a certain type of grits and I don't have any problems with it coming under pressure, but a few people have had problems with it coming over under pressure. I might have to make that again. Oh, darn. And see if I can figure out why somebody's having problems. So John wants to know, what are grits? Grits are ground up corn, but not like cornmeal or corn flour, I think you would call it, right? Um, it's hard for me to explain because I know in Australia, what would be similar to grits in Australia? Well, Google's our friend. All right. They say polenta. I sort of disagree with that. I think polenta is a little smoother than grits, but they're both made from ground corn, right? So I think there's different kinds of corn though that they're made from. Hey, Larry, how are you? No, I'll be in Frostburg, Larry. So no, we're not going to make it over to Ken Island, which is where I used to live. But we miss you guys too. You need to give us a call. Um, let's see. So we have another Melinda just bought the Ninja Combi and loving it. That's awesome. Sorry, my phone was going off. Let's see. All right, ricotta cheese blend stuffed salad. Oh, that sounds good. And mother-in-law's making lasagna. You know, a lot of people make Italian for Thanksgiving. A lot of people do that. Um, yeah, Annie, I was going to be off, but I didn't end up having to go out of town. I was going to go out of town this week, but I didn't have to go. So I decided to jump on here instead because what else am I going to do? Jeff's at work. I was going out of town by myself this week. So, but I didn't have to go. Um, Oh, that's awesome. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad. So Melody made the sausage and pepper pasta um, for friends on Sunday night. It was a big hit. Everyone asked for the recipe. That's so awesome. I love hearing that. I'll tell you, it is humbling. Like you would not believe to see all the people that actually make my recipes. Like funny story, when I first started this, now in 2015, I became a food blogger. Well, I was a nurse, right? A nurse and I played with food. Now I just play with food for a living. But in 2015, I was like, just started out like most food bloggers and started making what I was cooking, you know, Jeff and I for dinner. And I was, you know, putting it into recipe form and this, that, and the other. And I mean, I wrote some horrible recipes. They're still up on my blog. They're good recipes, but they're written horribly. And there's a couple times when Jeff's like, why don't you do videos? You know, first of all, I didn't want to do any videos. I don't want to be on camera. I'm not that kind of person. You know, I didn't have any desire for that. I was like, no, 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 this is a faceless job. I just want to be writing these recipes. And of course I was doing a terrible job at that too, but I didn't want any parts of video. And I told him, I said, and plus nobody actually is going to make these recipes. Like just one day I might want to remake it. Nobody's ever going to look at them or make them. So I don't, you know, why would I even worry? And then like when I started doing recipes, you know, fast forward, I retired from nursing and moved to Tennessee and started doing this full time. I was like, oh my gosh, you know, so and so just made my recipe and they loved it. I mean, and it's like, it's amazing. It's an amazing feeling. I can't say enough about how humbling it is when you guys make recipes and then share your stories and people, you know, loved it. Or what went wrong if something went wrong so I could problem solve. Sometimes I've had to, you know, tweak recipes because obviously if more than a few people say that it didn't work for them, then there's something wrong with my recipe. It's not just one person. So yeah, it's so cool. I just love you guys so much. It's amazing. And you know, you think that how are you going to coming from a nursing background where I know I made an impact on people's lives, like I know I made a difference, right? I was a hospice nurse and I was a really good one. And then I was a geriatric nurse, and hospice kind of goes hand in hand with that, and I was really good at that too. And loved it until I didn't, until I was just done, burned out, tired of it. But I always knew that the work was worth it because I was impacting lives. I never realized ever the impact that writing recipes, sharing videos, encouraging people, supporting people, I never realized that it would have that kind of impact. So it's amazing. And I just appreciate you guys so much for always letting me know, you know. It makes it a little bit easier to deal with the jerks. That I don't know. I had a comment the other day. It was so funny on my website. They first of all, they didn't even know what they were talking about. I love those arrogant people that don't even know they're wrong about everything. But basically, it was about a turkey recipe and about how I was brining it, which I didn't even brine it, so I don't even know what they were talking about. But how I was injecting it, it was already injected, and that I was stealing other people's recipes. I'm like, what? are you talking about? I mean, that went right in the trash because I don't steal anybody's recipes. I mean, now creme brulee only has a few ingredients. It's the same across the board. Like, unless you're adding some other flavoring to it, creme brulee is creme brulee. That's not stealing a recipe. But I mean, this turkey, I didn't steal anybody's recipe. Oh, you know what I think they were talking about? Is I talked about Ree Drummond's brine in that recipe. I think that is what they were talking about. So they think I'm stealing that recipe. I'm not stealing her recipe. I gave her credit for that recipe. Anyway, I just had a moment of clarity of why he wrote that. Anyway, he's still a jerk. So I got rid of that. Oh, Gigi. Okay, the sizzle. I'm thinking about getting that for quick stuff. So I'm interested to hear what you think about it. Hi, Faith. How are you? Christina, yes, I do have the oven. I'm going to tell you something about the oven. I want to love it, and it's hard to use. I thought, excuse me, and cheers. I thought, like, I can use anything, right? I can cook in anything. I can, as long as I have a heat source, I can cook it. That thing has a learning curve. And it's hot if you're using high temps, obviously, because it gets up to 700 degrees, which I thought was going to be amazing. And it is amazing for a lot of things. But like I made, oh my gosh, what's it called? Oh, it's a chicken thing. And it's usually, tandoori chicken. And it's usually done, authentically, originally in a really hot clay baker kind of thing, right? And so the heat, it's super hot in there. I think they get up to 900 degrees. And I don't know if I think they roast it over top, and then they'll do the naan by throwing it on the wall of the clay baker. And so I thought, well, this outdoor oven gets up to 700 degrees. It's real small. This is going to be perfect for my tandoori chicken, except it wasn't. And it was mostly trying to figure out how to get it to not stick. And like, okay, so let me explain that a little bit. When you put something on a really hot surface, a protein on a really hot surface, it immediately sticks. Okay. So like I say with burgers and everybody says with burgers and with steaks and with chicken, don't flip it until it releases on its own. Right. Or you're just going to tear the meat. It's not going to work out, right? Your hamburger's going to fall apart. Your chicken's going to tear. It's going to leave residue on your grill or whatever hot surface you're cooking on. Well, with the oven, because the temperatures are so hot, it would be done and burning before it ever released. And it was just really weird. So it was a mess. So I ended up not using it for that recipe, which is what I intended to use. I've made pizzas on it, and I'm not really good at that. I'm not good at getting them off the pizza peel correctly. I guess I'm not using the right stuff on the bottom, even though I thought I was. So yeah, I have it. I like it, and I like the theory behind it, but I'm challenged with it. I'll just say it right out front. I'm challenged by it. I made one perfect chicken in it, and I thought I got this. And then bought a slightly bigger sized chicken. No, didn't work. So you have to get really small chickens. So there's some issues, and I haven't really had enough time to dedicate to really just learning it. It's outside, which I'm not a huge fan of outdoor cooking. I don't like bugs. Okay. I don't like flies. I just don't like it. So I'm not going to like be preparing a big feast outside. That's just not me. So anyway, yeah, I have it. I like it, but I'm not good at it yet. So you won't see any videos until I can get at least a little bit better at it. Okay, Mike, hash browns. I don't know why you can't buy them, but guess what? You can make them. They're so easy to make. Homemade hash browns, the salted pepper. And they're made in an air fryer. They're super easy to make. You can customize them all kinds of ways, which is why I love making my own food. because I can customize it. Oh, I've got to tell you guys something too. I got to tell you what I made. This is going to shock a lot of you. Maybe not, but Jeff, my husband, was like, "You're doing what?" Okay. So, Mike, I just posted the link for the hash browns, so don't worry that you can't buy them because you can make them yourself. These are the pre-grated, like shredded but formed hash browns. Okay. Now, if you wanted to just fry them up in a pan, you wouldn't have to press them. You'll be able to figure it out, I think. And if not, you can email me and ask me any questions you want. All right. So Patty has a question. So everything you can do on the Ninja Smoker, can you do on my Traeger? Yes, Patty, you can. Okay. I don't have a Traeger. I've never used a Traeger, but it's a bigger pellet smoker. The thing about the Ninja Smoker that I like is, number one, it is electric. I don't know if the Traegers are. They might be. I don't know. I don't know if you have to light your pellets, like get them going first. Like, I don't know anything about a Traeger, so maybe somebody else can help with that. But with the Ninja Smoker, what I like about it is, number one, it's electric. It's so darn easy to use, but you use a lot less pellets. But I love the cold smoking feature. So on a Traeger, you have to do that a little bit differently, but you can do it. You can definitely do it. So I don't think there's anything that you can't do on the Traeger. The Ninja, because it's smaller, is going to take less time, a lot of times, to smoke the meat. And I go at lower temperatures sometimes. So like a pork shoulder, I would traditionally smoke that at about 250 to 275 degrees on my big, rotisserie wood burning smoker that I used to have. And I would probably go 8, 10, 12 hours sometimes, it just depended. And on the Ninja, I still went 10 hours, but I did it, I think, at 225. But I still let it go that whole time because I felt like it needed that smoke. And you've got to refill that hopper quite often to do that. And it also just needed that time to break down. But then other things are done lickety split because it's so small. So leaner cuts of meat, things that don't really have to have that long cook time, they're done much quicker than on a Traeger. So I think the timings will be a little bit different, but you definitely can do it. Smoke a beef brisket on there. I did pulled pork, chicken, and brisket when I went to a family funeral memorial service, and made it here, froze it, took it over to Arizona, like hop, skip, and a jump, right? But it was still frozen. And it was so delicious. And I have a Facebook group called Ninja Wood Fire Recipe and Tips, I think. And my process is in there. I don't get fussy with my barbecue, just like I don't get fussy with my bread. I don't babysit it. Now with the Ninja, you got to fill the hopper, but I don't spritz it. I don't wrap it. I don't do anything to it. I set it and pretty much forget it except for filling the hopper. That's it. I just won't fuss with it, because if I have to fuss with it and it's outside and it's like fly season or cold, no, no. I'll go out there once an hour and I'll throw some, or 45 minutes and throw some pellets in there, or I'll send Jeff out and I don't even, no fussing, no fussing. Christina, pellets are great. I buy a nice blend. It took me forever to learn how to properly smoke meat of what dirty meat, or that was tough. And dirty, you probably just mean too much smoke flavor, or that icky stuff that can get on the outside from the harsh smoke. Now, what I found with the Ninja is I don't worry about burning off that white smoke if I'm doing a large cut of meat. It doesn't affect it because it goes away kind of quickly. But with like cheese and smaller, delicate things, I will definitely let those pellets burn and then open the lid and let all that white smoke out so that it doesn't get onto the food. Patty, I've had a lot of people say that they put pellets in the microwave for 30 seconds to dry them out. I've never had to do that. I had one issue where my pellets weren't lighting in the wood fire, and I never did figure out why. It just one time. It wasn't raining. I don't know. I was doing a video for pulled pork too, and you can notice I don't have a pulled pork video. I was so frustrated by the thing. I still have to go back and redo that, but it only happened one time. I'm like, what in the world? It's one time my hopper thing wasn't all the way down, like the little insert wasn't all the way down, and then another time I had a piece pellet underneath, and I guess I was raising it up a little bit. So there was another thing that had happened that I noticed. And I don't remember. I fixed them though, and I've never had it happen again. Again, my nose is itching and it looks red. I don't know why. This happens every time I'm live. It's so crazy. All right, let's see. I'm going to keep going down. All right. Juliet, we're probably going to spatchcock a turkey on the Traeger smoker, or maybe buy a Cajun turkey from Popeyes. Not sure yet. So, Juliet, I have a video coming out, although I watched it today and I said, Jeff, I did a horrible job with this video. We need to rearrange it. It's supposed to go out on Friday, but I'm really not happy with it. I talk too darn much and no action is going on because guess what? That wood fire is outside and I'm inside prepping this turkey. But I did a cool technique that you might want to try. Instead of spatchcocking it, I did a semi-spatchcock. By that I mean I took out the backbone and I cut the rib cage down, but I stuffed it with some apples so that I was able to create the turkey shape that would fit in the little wood fire. Now, the Traeger, you may not have that issue because it's bigger, so it may not be a size issue. It might be that you're spatchcocking it because you like the way it cooks evenly. Well, I will say that the semi-spatchcock works pretty well too as far as cooking goes because you've got that bottom that there's nothing to penetrate through. It's all open. I mean, it's got the apples and I put cinnamon sticks in, although I don't think that made any difference. And some garlic and things like that. But it was pretty cool. It's a pretty cool technique. And I did that because I was so frustrated. I bought a 15-pound turkey to smoke and it would not fit on that wood fire, not even the XL. And I was like, okay, but I don't want to spatchcock it. I want a full turkey, you know? So I just kind of did a semi-spatchcock on it. Good night, Patty. Good night. I'm looking at the time here too. Okay, I am so far behind on these comments. Hey, Mary. Vicky, this is a good question. Okay. Do you have a good recipe for gluten-free bread? Number one, no, I don't because I'm kind of afraid. I know that when you're making things with gluten-free flour, it's a whole different ball game. So I did buy some gluten-free flour, but then I see that there's also gluten-free flour that's specifically for baking and then some that's specifically for bread. So I would get a 1-to-1 ratio and try that out. But I think in January I'm gonna try my hand at that. You know, I'm not gluten-free, so that's why it's not like I have to make it, but I know enough people ask about it that I would like to be able to get out something good. And I have no idea what gluten-free flour, how it acts, what it tastes like. I mean, now if I could get a carb-free bread, oh my gosh, I would be so happy about that. Okay, yeah, so we're down to the balloon comments. I don't know where they came from, but I loved them. So, I mean, if anyone knows. Okay, what? So the balloons are caused by your fingers, Louise. Try 2 thumbs up held for a few seconds. Oh my gosh. I feel like I'm in an alternate universe right now. So 2 thumbs up gives firecrackers. Oh my gosh. I want the balloons. What can I do to get the balloons? Okay, let's see. Balloons. If you cross your arms, let's see. that's not working. Oh my gosh, I'm like a little kid, aren't I? Oh, now I just got a bubble. So I guess it changes. Oh, this is too much. Can you guys see that on YouTube? I bet you can't. I bet you can't see it. Oh my goodness. I got to do it again. Oh my gosh. Oh, this is crazy. This is so crazy. Um, all right, April. What am I doing wrong? I think that when I do chicken and stuff, either in the Speedy or the Foodie, hubby complains that it's dry, but I think that it's okay. Well, if it's dry, it's overcooked. And one thing that I would say is you're probably overcooking it. So silly of me to say. I have a thought coming after this. Okay. Um, and probably because you're cooking it to 165 degrees and then bringing it out. And during the time at rest, it is getting up to the 180 marks, 175, 180, probably. And it depends on the shape of the meat. It depends on the meat itself. But basically, if it's, let's say, a chicken breast, you can expect 5 to 10 degrees of carryover cooking from the heat that's already trapped inside of the chicken. So take your chicken out at about 158, 160. And then when you serve it, it's going to be perfect. Let it rest for 5 to 10 minutes. It'll come up to 165. And usually what I'll do is I'll put in an instant read thermometer and just leave it in and make sure that it comes up while it's sitting there resting. But I've never had it not, so it'll be fine. If you want to push it a little bit, especially when you first start, go up to 162, right? Pull it out and let it rest for 5 minutes. It'll definitely come up to 165. Okay. And then the other thing is if you have like a big roast and it's like, let's say it's round, like a pork loin, not necessarily a pork tenderloin, but a pork loin that's kind of, a bigger circumference, you can plan on those going up 15 degrees or more during the rest time. Okay. So I usually cook those to about 133 or so, and then pull it out and it'll come up to 145. I like my pork medium rare. That's up to you if you want to, take it further, but 145, I believe, is the minimum number for the pulled for pork. I said pulled pork, not pulled pork, pork. Hey, Cooking with CJ, how are you? Crystal, I do have a recipe for chocolate chip cookies. They are my mom's Cowboy cookies. They are really simple. They are not done in the Foodie or anything because really making a batch of cookies in the Foodie would take forever. They are made in the regular oven, and you can make them in the XL oven too. So I will post that link there. They're really good. They have oatmeal in them. And they're really good. They're like, to me, they're the perfect chocolate chip cookie, but I grew up with chocolate chip cookies because they're my mom's, right? So I grew up with these. They are crunchy on the outside, but kind of chewy on the inside. I don't like a soft cookie. So if you're looking for a soft chocolate chip cookie, if you're looking for any kind of soft cookie, that's really not going to be on my website because I don't like them. I like a crunchy cookie. All right. Hi, Kathy. Thank you, Robin. Robin saying my home's beautiful. We did a remodel. It's not big open. It's one big open area. So what you see behind me is like our little sitting room. We don't have kids or anything. It's just me and Jeff here. And so we have chairs and a pool table that we never use. And over to my left here, my left, probably your right, I guess, is my kitchen, the old kitchen that I used to film in. And then the front door's over there, and then the hallway to go down to the bedrooms are there. But this is like one huge open space, which is what I absolutely loved about this house when we looked at it. It was kind of funny. Jeff got a job here in Tennessee, and I was fine with moving. I was okay. It was fine. It was the best thing I ever did. But at the time I had lived in Maryland my whole life. So it was a little bit like, whoa, okay. But he got a job, or he was interviewing for a job here. And when we came, I was like, oh my goodness, I don't think I'm going to like it at all here. And we looked at so many houses and I was like, no, no, I don't think this is good. I mean, there's not even a grocery store anywhere around. I mean, like it's no. And then we pulled up to this one and he did not want to look at this house because it was weird. It was weird. There's some weird things about it. But I said, no, we're going to look at it because I just have a feeling about this one. And so we pulled up and there was an L on the mailbox. And I was like, okay, there's a sign. And then we pulled up in the driveway and we stepped out of our car. And this is no joke. We felt pulled down into the earth, like the house, the yard, the everything. Like we felt planted. And both of us felt that way. As soon as I stepped on to the driveway, I looked at Jeff and I said, we're buying this one. And he says, do you feel that? And I said, yeah, I feel it. Like we knew we were home. It was the most amazing thing. In Maryland, I had a house before I met Jeff. So Jeff moved in with me. You know, this was a house that we bought together. And not that it mattered. I mean, you know, I didn't care that he moved in with me or whatever. I could have moved in with him. It doesn't matter. But I had it before him. So it wasn't really something that we chose. This house chose us. It was just amazing. It was just so amazing. So thank you, Robin, for the compliment. I appreciate that. It didn't always look like this though. The walls were blue. The windows were dark wood. The baseboards were wood. The floor was always like this, but the walls were they were blue, green, gold, and another color, blue. They were festive. They were festive. And I just wanted to kind of tame it all down a little bit. So there we go. All right, let's see here. All right. Go, yes, CJ, I'm way back. I'm way back. And that's okay. I'm just going at my leisure here. Okay. Michael, have you done in the past Hungarian goulash, and do you have plans on doing it if you haven't? So I have not, but I have looked it up, right? And I believe that it's similar to Irish stew, but I let me look it up again. Goulash for me is like macaroni noodles with tomato and green pepper and stuff. It also, what else is it called? The goulash is also called, oh, I lost my train of thought. Here in the US, help me out, guys. There's another term for it, I think, in New England. They call it something different. I can't remember. Anyway, I'm looking at a Hungarian goulash recipe online right now. Let me just see. Onions, caraway. Oh, I like that caraway. So it's like a beef stew. So what would make it different? Michael, have you had Hungarian goulash, and what makes it different for you? I'd love to hear people's feelings on that. Like what makes it different than a US type of beef stew or a lamb stew, which obviously a lamb stew is a little bit different because it's got lamb in it and that's a different flavor. But yeah, I want to hear what people think about what Hungarian goulash is to them. And okay, let's see. I'm going to keep going here. Let's see. All right, Donna, dressing, raw eggs or boiled eggs, and why? I feel like I'm missing something. So I feel like I'm missing something. Are you talking about stuffing, dressing? I don't put eggs in my dressing. I never have. Never even thought about it. But now if you're talking about a dressing for potato salad, I'm trying to think if I have a potato salad that has raw eggs in it. I think I might. Actually, no, it has milk. I have an Amish potato salad. Anyway, I don't want to go too far off this track because I think I'm not even understanding what the question is. But I don't put anything. If you're talking about dressing, stuffing, like you would serve at Thanksgiving, I don't put any any eggs in it. I never have. I never even thought about it. Like, I want to hear now. I want to know what's going on. So yes, in my potato salad recipe, I do put an egg in the dressing for an Amish potato salad. So yeah, Donna, if you're still in the chat, fill me in on what that means. Crystal, I'm sorry you've had a hard day, my dear, and I'm glad that I did show up here tonight instead of what would I be doing? Nothing. I'd be in my pajamas doing nothing, playing a stupid game on my phone or something. So I'm glad to be here too. Um, oh, Mary, thank you so much. So Mary's saying that she makes a lot of the recipes and the videos help her a lot. That's awesome. Like, I like doing the videos. I didn't think I would, but I do like doing them. Um, all right, Michael, thank you so much. Hey, Aaron, how are you? Okay, I'm going to try to get through this here. Um, let's see. I'm going to keep going. I'm reading them though. Oh, April, that's awesome. So yeah, that's what I like, that lemon pasta recipe, because you can basically do anything with it that you want, and that's the thing about recipes. Like, if you don't like an ingredient, like I had somebody ask me, why do I put onions in everything? Oh, because I like them. And they were like, but I don't. I said, "Well, leave them out. It's fine. Unless it's French onion soup or something like that, or an onion-centered dish, onions are supporting ingredients. If you don't like them, just leave them out. You don't need to substitute them with anything or anything. Just leave them out. Same with green peppers. I mean, unless it's stuffed green peppers. And even then, if you like colored peppers and don't like green peppers, you like the red ones or the yellow ones, switch it up, right? You don't want that at all? Put your mix in cabbage, and switch it up that way if you don't like the pepper flavor. There are so many things you can do. And any recipe that you follow, no matter if it's mine or somebody else's, it's just a guideline. It's just a guideline to kind of help you go in the right direction. Except maybe candy. Candy's not really too much left for interpretation. You got to hit those temperature marks, and you got to use the right kind of pan, and you got to do things a little bit the way the recipe says. Okay, so Patty, so we're on this egg and stuffing topic. I always use raw eggs because they get cooked in the oven while I cook the dressing. What is the purpose in eggs in a dressing? And I'm assuming we're talking about stuffing, right? For a turkey or whatever, pork chops, whatever, stuffing, dressing, not a dressing, not a liquid dressing that goes over potatoes or something like that. So I am really interested in this. I've never heard of it. I think I've seen boiled eggs put into dressing before, but I've never tried it. I'm not opposed to it, but I've never tried it. Oh, did we have some trollers? I think John probably took care of them. Gigi, I know you've been doing so many great things. You've been doing so good and asking great questions and all that stuff. That's awesome. Just keep trying. We don't get good at anything when we try twice. We get good at things when we try 200 times. So, I mean, cooking is it's intimidating for a lot of people, and the fear of failure is real. Ingredients are expensive. Time, like, right? Who wants to go to all that time to make a recipe and then it turn out terrible, But we learn from mistakes too. So when you do it over and over again and you make little mistakes, you fix them the next time, and then you fix them the next time, and then pretty soon you get a knack for it and you're just able to kind of do it. So semolina under the crust, Wendy, I've been doing that. That's not working for me. And CJ's saying that the oven is okay, but I've been using it for pizzas. It's definitely challenging to come up with recipes for it. It is, CJ. I thought I'd be whipping them out. But a big indicator for me is when I want to do a recipe, first of all, I think what appliance is going to do the best job? Sometimes it's the stove, sometimes it's a regular oven, sometimes it's the foodie, sometimes it's, the wood fire outdoor grill. But I've never gravitated towards saying, well, except for the one chicken dish where I thought the oven would do a great job. I've never really said, oh, this would be perfect in the oven. So I don't know. I think I just need to work with it a little bit more. Um, all right, let's see. Okay, let's see. Todd. Hi, Louise. I made a crusted pork loin exactly as you showed in your video. It was the best. Oh, good. So funny thing is, like, I don't read the comments all the way through before I throw them up on the screen. So this could be and it was terrible. And it could be. Things happen. That's awesome. And it was best I ever made. The first one that turned out juicy, fork tender. I enjoyed it in your honor. Thank you. Let's give some fireworks. Yay! I love this. YouTube, I need to know, can you see those? I bet you can't. My goodness. All right, let's see. I'm going to keep going. All right, I'm going to keep going. CJ. Yeah, I bought a 15-pound turkey and it wouldn't fit on the XL Pro Connect either. And I was so damn mad that I semi-spatchcocked it because I wanted a full turkey. So I have a video, although I don't like the video. I did a terrible job. So I'm gonna try to see if Jeff can rearrange it, make it a little bit better because it's totally my fault. Like I just talk too much. But it worked. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool the way it worked out. The one thing that I'm having a real trouble with is getting a picture. So I bought another 15-pound turkey. I think the one I did in the video was 12 pounds, but I did do a 15-pound prior to the video. And now I'm going to do another 15-pound after the video to get a picture because it's ridiculous. When you smoke meat, it doesn't look that pretty. It's really hard to get a good picture. So I need to get some garnishes and do something. So I'm going to work tomorrow to do that. I'm gonna have so much turkey. But I made turkey and rice soup, and I made turkey stock, which I already have a recipe for the turkey broth. But the turkey turkey and rice soup, that'll be a recipe coming out right after Thanksgiving. Okay, good. Let me put this up here, Caitlin. Thanks for bringing this up. So I highly recommend the Loopy Whisk for gluten-free bread. She figured out the science of it, and that's what it is. It totally is. So if somebody's done it and it's good bread, go over there and pay that website a visit. Psyllium husk is a must to create that gluten-like stretch. Yeah, I've read that. This psyllium, it's not psyllium, psyllium husk. But I think now there is a flour that you can buy that is specifically for bread making, and it probably has those types of ingredients in there because there are additives that have to go in there. Okay, Dee's saying I was holding up fingers as in counting when I got the balloons. Oh, so you guys see it too? You see it too? So I was counting 1, 2, 3. Oh, confetti. That's not 3. 1, 2, 3, and I got 4 fingers up. Laugh away, friends. Laugh away. Okay. Okay, let's stop. We got confetti. Oh my God, this is so fun. 1, and then 2. Nothing. Oh, balloons. Okay, so YouTube sees balloons. Does Facebook see balloons? So does Facebook? Oh my gosh. Facebook and YouTube see the balloons? How is this happening? This is the most fun I've ever had. Okay. New to the Ninja Foodie 14 and 1 made the bread in the cookbook that came with the machine, steam and crisp. Bottom was raw and gummy. Yes, I've experienced that myself, Nicole. And the top was burnt. Yes, I've experienced that myself, Nicole. I had a similar experience with brownies. Yes. So I have a thing on, for the older models, I have a thing on my website, Baking in the Ninja Foodie, doing things like brownies and cakes and stuff like that. It can be done, but there are some challenges with it for sure. The one thing with the bread, number one, I found you always have to flip it if you want that bottom to, it's not necessarily going to always be gummy, but it's not going to be brown. And you have to limit the amount of flour that you use so that your loaf is not too tall when it rises. If it gets too close to that heating element, you're going to have that burn mark right on the top. Even if it doesn't touch, like I've made them so they actually rise up and touch. Oh boy, did that smell good when it was crisping. Oh gosh, burning dough. But if you keep your flour to a certain like 3 to 3.5 cups tops, then it won't rise up so high. You also have to put it very low in the pot. And I've been playing around with different things to get that done because obviously you can't put it right in the pot because you've got water in the pot, right? My bread recipe goes right into the bottom of the pot, but you still have to flip it over. And my bread recipe is from 100 years ago, and it's very anemic looking. It's meant to be a sandwich bread, so it's not meant to be brown and crusty. So it's really it's a terrible picture, but it's a very basic, low hydration dough and bread for people who are just getting started. It's a very easy recipe. Certainly not my best recipe, but if you're just starting out, you're going to end up with a tasty loaf of bread. But when you get into the steam and crisp, you're probably looking for that nice brown, crunchy outside with that pillowy, soft inside. And the secret to that is keeping it very low in the pot. And also, like I said, using the right amount of flour so that it's not too tall. Oh yeah. Thank you guys for explaining to Crystal what's going on here. So it's this strange phenomenon. Like, I don't even know where it's coming from, but if I put 2 fingers up, I get balloons. Maybe. No, it's not doing it. Of course not. I'm out of balloons. 2 thumbs up, I get fireworks. So then fireworks come behind me. The screen goes black, Crystal, and fireworks are all shooting out behind my head. It's pretty cool. I just don't know where it's coming from. Because why would you see it on Facebook? And you don't see comments from YouTube unless I put them up on the screen. If you're on Facebook, you don't see the YouTube comments. But I guess you're all seeing the same video. This is just so interesting to me. I've never seen it. Okay, let's see. Go all the way down. Can you hear my dog snoring in the background? Okay, gosh, I'm so behind. Well, I'm not, am I? Yeah, I'm about 10 minutes behind. Okay, let's see. Okay, so Susie's saying a lot of Southerners just put eggs in their cornbread for stuffing, like their cornbread stuffing. I've never heard of this. April has a similar house story. I felt the same way when I saw our house. It wasn't for sale, but I wanted it. The owner was elderly and we loved her. I felt such a welcoming feeling when we purchased the house from her kids. She was a heavy smoker and oftentimes I'll smell cigarette smoke and either hubby or I smoke. It's like that she approved of all the changes that were done. That's awesome. That's awesome. It's so amazing when you find like where you belong, right? Where you fit. And that's this house in this area for me. And I didn't think it was going to be, Nancy, yes, you love those shake and bake pork chops. They are awesome. And that coating really keeps them juicy. And of course, we don't overcook, right? All right, Shirley, my friend, Southern cornbread dressing has a beaten raw egg in it. Okay. And I also cut up some boiled eggs too. The egg is a binder. Very interesting. I can definitely see it, especially with cornbread. Now, see, What's interesting when I make cornbread dressing is I don't use all cornbread. I will use a combination of cornbread and regular bread. So Shirley, you'll have to tell me one time if yours is pure cornbread or if you use a combination. Because when I use pure cornbread, it has a weird texture to it. And I bet those eggs are what fixes that. Darn. But I don't like the grittiness. So does it fix that? I'll have to try it. Shirley, as a matter of fact, you make it in a combi. I'll go look and see if you've ever made it in a combi. And if you have, I'll follow your recipe and make it. Okay. So, Metalhead, what is the best setting for brisket in the Ninja Foodie? Pressure cook or roast, please? Okay. So, a combination is going to be, in my opinion, your best. Now, you can absolutely go on bake roast at a low temperature for a long period of time. And I'm talking a long period of time to break down the brisket. And of course, it depends on how big the brisket is, how long, but it's going to take a long time. What I would do, and what I do in my corned beef recipe, which corned beef is brisket, it's the same cut, it's just corned. So what I do is I pressure cook and then I air crisp. And I think that is the best way to go about doing a brisket in the Ninja Foodie. I also have a brisket recipe that uses mushrooms and cranberries. Oh my gosh, that's right. That is a delicious recipe. I should make that for my family as an accompaniment to the turkey. Anyway, I digress because it has mushrooms and cranberries, right? Perfect for Thanksgiving or Christmas. And I do pressure cook and I do air crisp because you want to break down the meat. When I say break down the meat, I don't mean so that it's falling apart necessarily. What I mean is break down the connective tissue so that you have a nice tender cut of brisket. But then you don't want that fat on the top all gross. You want that to be crispy and flavorful and add texture. So that's why I do a combination of both. And that's what I recommend. And for the timings and stuff, I would look up my corned beef and cabbage recipe. Obviously, you're not going to do all the rest of it, but the corned beef and cabbage, and just look at the pressure cook time versus the air crisp time. And then also the brisket with cranberries and mushrooms. And I believe that one does the same thing, pressure cook and then air crisp for the brisket. Okay. Oh, Barb, that's good. I bet that's good. So she makes the shrimp scampi, but substitute chicken in. That sounds really good. All that garlic and stuff. Ooh, gosh, with chicken, yum, yum. All right, I'm going to keep going. Keep going. Let's see. Wendy, payday candy bars. What are those? I mean, I know what they are. I've seen them, but I don't remember. I haven't had them in a long time. So are they the peanut ones? Let me look because they would be pretty easy to make. Are they all peanut? I got to look. I see the package, but I need to look at what the inside looks like. So they're like a peanut nougat, right? Is it peanut and caramel? Oh my. That would be super. Oh, is it caramel with peanuts over? What? Does it have chocolate? Well, I'm getting all different kinds. There's all different kinds of payday. But yeah, that would be pretty easy to do. In fact, that would be easy to do with my caramel recipe and just add peanuts to it and then dip them in chocolate. Oh my gosh, what about if I did little payday bites? Oh my gosh, that's good. I could never call them payday though, because that's obviously copyrighted or trademarked. Excuse me, whatever it is. Oh, and you know what else I wanted to tell you? Oh, I just got a beautiful YouTube comment. And they pop up on my phone, right? Oh, you can't see that really, but anyway, they pop up on my phone. I need to turn that stuff off. So it's the potatoes, my smashed potatoes, telling me that I need to stop eating potatoes. Thank you. Thank you for fat shaming me. Let me call you out right now, right here. Let me call you out. Let's see. You are Enjoy Reading 3503. Thanks for fat shaming. Aren't you a kind person? Oh my God. Anyway, okay. Let's see. Where was I? Where was I? I don't remember. We'll just move on. Payday. Oh, yeah, I know. So I have a recipe coming out for a copycat version of honey baked ham, which is basically sugar crusted. Did you know that? Like it's, I mean, the top is all sugar crusted. It's quite strange, but it's delicious. Anyway, so I did my own version, and I saw on a Facebook page today for food bloggers that somebody was asked by the lawyers that for the honey baked ham company to remove the name of her recipe because she called it honey baked ham and it's trademarked. I'm like, okay, so good timing for that. Now I've got to come up with a new name for it. I can't call it honey baked ham or like honey baked ham or anything like that. I've got to call it. So I guess I'm going to call it sugar encrusted or sugar crusted ham or honey and sugar, honey sugar ham, honey sugar ham. What do you think? Sugar, honey sugar ham. I like the ring of that honey sugar ham. That's what I'm going to call it. Okay. Thank you. Um, All right, I'm going to keep going here. I'm almost done, I think. All right, Nicole, do you bake bread in any Ninja appliance? If so, which is best? Okay. This is a good question. The Ninja Combi is the best for baking small loaves of bread. You couldn't do big ones, but small ones. For bigger ones, the Ninja XL oven does a good job, but it's not like we don't have that steam crisp. You can add in, hot water to the bottom and things like that. I mean, you can create steam in it, but it's not quite as good or as easy as it is in the Combi. So for larger loaves of bread, I usually use my regular oven. But for smaller ones, the Combi cannot be beat. It browns it so evenly. So, and I get it's because of the shape of it, so it's not deep and narrow like the foodie is. It's, long and it's like it's not really a box, it's a little rectangle, right? It does an amazing job. Like for me, it's worth it just to bake bread in. You can do a lot of other things in it, but it's worth it just to bake bread in. It's pretty good. So I'm gonna do some recipes in it with bread. I think it's amazing. The bottoms, like we were talking earlier about the foodie never really getting the bottom right, and I've noticed that no matter what I've done, I've never gotten an even browning over the entire thing. But the Combi, everything's perfect. I mean, perfect. As a matter of fact, I'll show you because I have a little loaf. I did a real little one. Let me bring it up here. I got it right over here, half long, because I make some toast with it. And this was a bread that was like super easy to make, right? So it doesn't have huge holes or anything, but that was my proofing. I didn't give it enough time. But when this came out, you see all those holes right there? And well, they're over here. This was so crunchy, but look at how beautifully uniform it is. This is right out, no flipping, no nothing, right out of the Combi. I'm just really amazed by it. I love it. For bread, I don't have too much other experience with it because I've only cooked something else live once with it, but it's amazing. So if you like to cook bread and you do it for small loaves, right? Probably 3 cups of flour per loaf is probably max. The Combi is a great thing to have. Now, if you want to do bigger, then I would, use your regular oven probably. Okay. I have a really good recipe or I think it is anyway. I don't know if other people will, but I think it's a really good recipe for pumpkin bread, and I will post it for you. It's pumpkin bread with an orange glaze, and I do believe it is made in the foodie, if my memory serves me correctly, which it doesn't always, but I do think it is. Okay, there's pumpkin bread for you, and I think you'll love it. Okay. Good night, Annie. All right, Mike. Controversial one here. Not so controversial. I'll tell you why. Slow cooker crock pot. Should you pre-fry the meat or straight in the pot? It doesn't matter. It's whatever you wanna do. I do believe, okay, that if you have a slow cooker and a crock pot, like the foodie does the slow cooker, and you can use sear saute to sear the meat, that it is worth it. It will infuse flavor because we have a Maillard reaction going on with the meat to create that browning, and that browning creates flavor compounds that will get into your food, and it does make the whole dish taste better. But is it worth dirtying another dish to make a beef stew that you can just throw everything in if you don't have the sear saute function on your crock pot or slow cooker? Probably not. I would probably just throw it in. I think it's totally okay either way. So I don't consider this controversial. I don't think there is a right or a wrong. I think it's about how much time do you have, and do you feel like doing another dish? If you have a dishwasher, you know, your husband, your wife, your kid, whoever, your significant other, and they don't mind, then get the frying pan out and fry it up for a few minutes. But if you don't worry about it. Dump it right in. Um, Oh, Mary, that's awesome. So the peppermint patties are a breeze to make. They are so easy. The chocolate covered cherries, they're a little bit adventuresome for you for sure. But just make sure that you make them in time, and you can let them sit at room temperature in a covered container for the 2 weeks. Some are going to leak on you. You eat those. You eat those, and you give the ones that don't leak away, okay? And don't get overly concerned about what they look like, because they're going to taste delicious. You'll have to keep me posted. Um, okay. Hold up 5 fingers. Barb, are you setting me up? What happens? I don't see anything happening with 5 fingers. Is my screen changing colors, or is that just me? I think that's just me with the lighting. Nothing happens. Okay. Stacia, happy birth. Oh, no, that's confetti. Oh, that's confetti. How do I do balloons again? Thumbs up, right? No, that's fireworks. 1. How do I do balloons? Happy birthday, Stacia. This is so much fun. Okay. All right. This is so much fun. Um, that's a good question. I did read this one all the way through. Crystal, that's a good question. So Crystal wants to know if she could use Nutella instead of peanut butter for peanut butter cookies, which they would be Nutella cookies. So Nutella is hazelnut and chocolate. Um, I'm just trying to think. You can absolutely can. I'm just wondering whether it would be a 1-to-1 ratio, because the Nutella, I don't really like it too much, so I don't have any. Jeff loves it, but it is not as thick as peanut butter is. So that might change the consistency of the cookie a little bit. It's also going to probably soften more than peanut butter does. And what I mean by that, like melt a little bit more in the cookie after you blend it. So I am of the mindset that it will work, but I would use 3/4 of the amount of Nutella than you would peanut butter. And you might even do an extra tablespoon of flour. Okay. Now I'm guessing. So if you want to do a 1-to-1 ratio, it might work out just great too. If anyone's made Nutella butter cookies, I guess you call them, let us know. Okay. 3 fingers need to face you, or like this. 2. I'll have to practice this. No. 3. Maybe the wrong way. I'm not getting anything. I'm out of balloons. Oh my God, this is hysterical. I must look like a fool. Oh, there's balloons. 2 balloons. 2 fingers. 2 fingers for balloons. Okay. Um, okay, Jack. Do I have any expertise using the proofing function on the Ninja Foodie? I don't know about expertise, but I've used it a whole lot. So if you have any questions about it, it's pretty self-explanatory. You can proof directly in the bottom of the Ninja Foodie or the Ninja Speedy. If you have the proof function on the Ninja Possible Cooker, I recommend raising the dough up off the bottom. That thing gets very hot even on the proof setting. But with the proof setting in the Ninja Foodie for the first proof, you can absolutely just throw that dough right in the bottom and it's not going to overheat. It's really amazing. I don't know what else I could say about it except for it works fine. It works great. Oh, I know what I could say about it. When you speed up the proofing process, you get your bread done quicker. That's a no-brainer, right? However, you do lose flavor. So just so you know that the longer something proofs, the more flavors developed in the bread. And certain breads, it's not going to make any difference. And if you're just making, like if you're making an enriched bread, which means you've put eggs or butter or milk into it, and you're just making, some dinner rolls or whatever, oh, speed that proofing up. It's not going to make a difference. But if you're trying to make a sourdough bread or some other kind of an artisan type of loaf of bread, even with regular flour and yeast, and you want to really develop flavor in it, like when you make pizza crust, I don't recommend. Okay, well, I don't want to say I don't recommend because you can do it any which way you want. But like when I'm making pizza crust, or I want to get a really flavorful yeasty loaf of bread, I won't use the proof function. I'll let it proof on the counter and sometimes in the refrigerator overnight to really slow the yeast down, but it still works overnight and it really produces a nice flavor. With pizza dough, I make it up and I'll do the first proof on the counter or in the foodie, but then I punch it down and I put it in a bag and I let it sit in the refrigerator for 2 days before I use it. To develop that flavor, and it really works well. But if you have any other questions about the proof, I'm happy to answer them. Okay. Nougat, peanuts, and caramel for the payday. Okay. I'm going to have to figure that out. Okay. Let's see. Hey, Brittany, how are you? Okay. I'm going down because I'm going to get ready to say good night. Okay, so Elaine, let's talk about this because we're talking about bread quite a bit. I made a perfect loaf of bread in the Pullman loaf pan in the foodie. Elaine, I think I'm gonna have to revisit the Pullman loaf pan because I see a lot of people use it and they have really good results with it. I got it and it was like so flimsy. I thought, this is a piece of crap. I'm sending it back. But maybe that flimsiness is actually good because it's conducting the heat. It's thin metal, or maybe I just got a dud. I don't know. So I think I'm going to buy another one and see. Hi, Jolene. How are you? I'm still talking away. 8:30 almost. Barb's another thumbs up for the combi. Cakes and baked goods turn out great. Okay, so now I can get a little thumb in a bubble up there. That's funny. Okay. I'm gonna keep. Do you hear my kittens? Can you hear it? All right. No. No, dog. My cats are starting to whine. They want to come out. I'm reading through these to see. All right. Good night, Beth. Reading through. Okay. All right. I think I'm to the bottom. Okay. So we've had a lovely chat. You guys have suffered through my nonstop blah, blah, blahs for now an hour and 30 minutes almost. So anything else before I bid you farewell and good night? And I will say that I did make beef stew in the Ninja Speedy, and it worked really pretty well, actually. It made a mess though. I had to steam clean it after. We're not, not steam clean it like with a handheld thing, but actually use the steam function to clean the lid. But it worked out. I mean, it was done in 50 minutes. That's pretty good for a beef stew. I mean, the beef is not as tender as it would be if it was either slow cooked or if it was pressure cooked. But it was really good. I'm sorry, I'm yawning. It was really good though. Oh, Elaine, that's what we'll end on. Let me get it out. It's in the refrigerator. You guys you're gonna be like, what in the world are you thinking, lady? Oh, let me get it out. This is so fun. You're gonna laugh. You're gonna laugh at me. I don't even think I have a cutting boards clean right now. So you're gonna get a plate and a knife, and you guys will be the first to see this. And I'll tell you what I did. Okay. So this is a canning jar. And inside is my version of lunch meat, chicken lunch meat. I kid you not. So, did you know that chicken and turkey lunch meat and some ham, do you know that it's pureed before it's put into the form, into the, and then sliced on the slicer? Let's see. Can I get it to come out? I might need a butter knife. Oh, no, it came out. Okay. So I only had the small canning jar. So I only did it this way. So this is chicken breast, thawed, pureed. Now I didn't have half of what I needed here. So this is what I did. This is where you guys will get a kick out of me. Normally you'd put some chicken broth in it. You put maybe some seasonings, a little bit of salt, things like that in it, right? Okay. So I have salt, but I didn't have chicken broth here, believe it or not. So I used coconut milk. I used chili garlic paste. I used some soy sauce. So I made an Asian inspired type of spicy lunch meat made with chicken breast. Now I'm going to slice it. So then after I pressure cooked it, then I put it into the refrigerator in the jar. And now I have these little pieces. Oh, I know, gosh, you can't have it. Little pieces of lunch meat. That's good. A little spicy. That's pretty good. Now, I think I could work on the texture a little bit. I think it's a little dry. So I'll have to figure out how to incorporate a little bit more moisture into it. But anyway, I plan on trying it. I could get a meat press and actually make it real. Let me put this up because the dog's going to grab it. I know it. But it opens up a whole world of opportunities for making lunch meat for sandwiches that you can flavor any kind of way. Like I was thinking about today, I was like, I'm going to make a chicken olive loaf. I'm going to do all kinds of stuff with this and keep it to put into lettuce wraps, different flavors and stuff. So I'm excited about this. Yeah, it's like, yeah, Bonnie, it's like chicken spam. It is. Okay, John says add a little bit of fat. Yeah, I didn't use the fat from the coconut milk. Oh, Gus really wants it. I think it's a little spicy for you, buddy. I didn't add any, I added the coconut milk like from a can. So they did have the coconut fat in there, but yeah, I think I need to add some fat in there a little bit. And that'll probably be the same with turkey. So I'm doing some smoked turkey, and I'm gonna like smoke some of the turkey, and I'm gonna take some of the turkey and try to make some a turkey kind of lunch meat. Now you can get it really thin if you press it in a meat press. I didn't do that. I just put it into, the canning jar and pressed it down by hand. So yeah, it's kind of cool. I'm kind of excited about it. Trying to do different things with it, and I don't know, you can just make all kinds of different stuff. So it's pretty cool. All right, guys. So that's my crazy adventure for today. And I pressure cooked it for 10 minutes if anybody cares. And I used the Ninja blender to blend it up. And you just get a puree. You get like you want it to be a pate consistency, and then put it in there. Pressure cook. I pressure cook this size for 10 minutes because it's raw. So you have to make sure that the center is up to 165 degrees. Mine was about 180. So maybe 10 minutes is a little bit too long. Maybe that is drying it out too. So anyway, I'll play around with it, but it sounds fun. Sounds fun. Dawn, welcome. I'm so glad that you stumbled across me, and I hope that you enjoy the recipes. All right, guys, love you all. I will see you in 2 weeks for Q&A. Next week, we will not be in town. We will be at my mom's house. I'm really excited about. So everybody that is celebrating Thanksgiving next week, have a happy Thanksgiving. And I hope everything goes super well for anything that you're cooking over the next week or so. Bye-bye. I never know where